energy we're talking about, called calories, is a measuring of energy that is produced by food. I started looking how metabolism works, then find something interesting. The model that I found, technically, it can be called hormonal imbalance. It was true that reducing calories makes everyone lose weight, but there wouldn't be that much problem with obesity, but there's a lot of people who cut consuming calories and lower their blood pressure, and indeed, they lose weight, but after a short period of time, they gain much more calories than before, so that doesn't work. In the hormonal imbalance model, what we discover that works, if we make the stomach overwork with too much stimulation, stress produces that the liver stores glucose, which is the sugar in the blood. When glucose level rises, the body does several things. It stores glucose for when there is none, and it puts it in the liver like a tank, reserving it. All of us have enough glucose stored in our liver, enough sugar in the blood for the next 24 hours with no problem. That's why you can go a day without eating and not die, or several days. So we have glycogen. It's basically the storage of sugar or glucose. With her stress and the nervous system is activated, the body prepares to fight or flight. What it does, it takes out some of that glucose and throws it out. When that happens, the glucose rises, which is the sugar in the blood. What it happens is that when the body feels that the glucose rises, there is another organ that is on the left side below the left chest. That is the size of your fist. It's called pancreas. This organ controls your sugar levels and produces a special juice that releases the nutrients from your food to help keep you in the best shape possible. Producing a special tonic made of water, sodium bicarbonate, and digestive enzymes. Sodium bicarbonate neutralizes the stomach's natural acidity. It achieves this with the hormones insulin and glucagon. For example, after a big meal, the blood often becomes flushed with sugar. To bring us back to normal, the pancreas releases insulin, which makes the excess sugar move into cells where it is either used as an energy source or stored for later. Insulin also tells the liver to shut down sugar production. If blood sugar is low, the pancreas releases a hormone called glucagon that tells the body cells and liver to release stored sugar back into the bloodstream. Insulin and glucagon is what keeps our sugar levels balanced. If it is weakened by disease, the organ's ability to produce insulin might be reduced or extinguished, which can be triggered the condition known as diabetes.
When it feels that there's too much glucose, it produces a hormone called insulin. If you mix glucose with insulin, what it produces fat. Yes, when there's too much glucose, that's the sugar in the blood, and too much insulin, what it produces is fattening. That's how fat is created. This model has worked for me because when I teach a person to eat and I explain to that person that there's food that makes you lose weight, because these foods produce a small percent of glucose, requires a little insulin. When you reduce the glucose and the insulin in such food, it will make you lose weight. For example, meat, chicken, jerky, fish, seafood, cheese, eggs, vegetables, vegetable juices, salad, almonds, and nuts. These types of food produce a small glucose and a little insulin. Therefore, since it doesn't have much glucose or insulin, it doesn't produce fat.
You can call these foods type A. Generally refers to foods that are considered beneficial to health and metabolism because they make you lose weight, and it controls diabetes. Now these are type E foods. It refers when you consume in large quantities and contribute to gain weight and accumulate fat because they have a lot of carbohydrate and sugar. For example, bread, pasta, flour, rice, banana, potatoes, tubers, cereals, sugar, sweets, chocolate, milk, fruit juice, and sugary drinks. These are enemies of the control of diabetes. In this model, what I'm taking into consideration is the impact glucose triggers sugar to rise, and hormonal that has to do with insulin. When we look to this model, which is nervous system, there's some factors you need to know. Glucose plus insulin equals fat. Key fact, scientific proven, glucose plus insulin plus fat equals more fat. For example, when you eat a pizza, you're eating flour that's glucose, which is going to force the body to produce insulin. And on top of that, it has a lot of fat. So I assure you, your clothes are going to fit tighter. Now, fat without insulin produces less fat. That's when the famous ketogenic diet comes from. It's based on eating only fat, and people lose weight with it. They lose weight because obviously if you eat a lot of fat with no insulin, and insulin only rises when you eat carbohydrates. So that diet definitely will work to lose weight. When you in stress, when you have a bad day, your glucose rises, that increases insulin. It creates more fat, specifically in the abdominal area and the belly. These are truths you need to learn if you want to lose weight. And to understand that some people lose weight or they gain eating fats, it depends if you have a parasympathetic nervous. The parasympathetic nervous system is typically a system associated with energy conservation and processes like digestion and elimination of waste products from the body. This system is sometimes referred to as the rest of digest system or sympathetic nervous system. Nervous system that controls automatic processes in the body like digestion, heart rate, respiration is associated with expending energy in the fight or flight response, which is a general response to alarming or threatening situations that involves increasing the ability of the body to act.